Hello, everybody. Welcome to Towns of 505, or welcome back if you're a viewer. My name is Nick. Joining me on this awesome series again is Bryer from Bryer's Music Showcase, filling in as Christine McVie.
As
Um,
always.
As always.
on the bottom of me is Scott from Sound Lab Studios, filling in as Big Fleetwood Mac again. And then returning as our guest, he's also going to be returning for the rest of the series. Is
Yeah.
Jason the Old Millennial? How's everyone doing tonight?
Pretty well.
You're good.
Doing good and ready to talk about Fleetwood Mac once again.
Yes.
It's been a few weeks.
Yeah.
It's been a month.
Oh, wow.
Really? Wow.
And I'm really excited to talk about this one, too.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, we did this last video. We did like regular Fleetwood Mac album wise is what's it called Heroes Are Hard to Find, and we did that.
that was forever ago.
Yeah, we did that January 30th.
Wow.
So it's nice that we're returning. You have any background information you want to add or say, Bryer?
Yep. Got a lot to say here. Because quite a bit happens between the last album and now.
Yes.
So, of course, this is their 10th studio album. And this album came out in July of 1975. And, of course, after the release of Heroes Are Hard to Find, of course, that's after that, Bob Welch left the band. So now it's just Mick Fleetwood, John McVie, Christine McVie, and that's it. So now, but the thing is, they're still in California because they had to move after all the legal stuff they had to deal with. But now, since they're in California, they might as well see if they can keep going. And so Mick decided to go find a new producer to work with. And the producer he ended up meeting was a man by the name of Keith Olsen. And of course, the two got along pretty well. And while they were talking, Olsen just came up to Mick and said, "Hey, you want to check out this album I produced quite a bit ago?" And of course, that album happened to be Buckingham Nicks. And of course, he played it to him, and Mick was, after hearing the album, Mick was very impressed with what he was hearing, especially coming from the guitarist, which we all know is Lindsey Buckingham. And it was through that album, that was when Mick convinced him to go ahead and try to locate Lindsey to see if he can join the band. And they got in contact, and Mick just asked if he wanted to join, and Lindsey said he would, unless he can bring Stevie with him. Of course, Stevie Nicks being the other one. So Mick was like, okay, sure. And so, of course, what Mick didn't know is that around this time, Lindsey and Stevie were kind of having some rocky stuff in their relationship. I wonder if that's going to play a role later. I don't know. But we'll see what happens there. But they decided to go ahead. They brought Lindsey and Stevie to meet the rest of the band. And what's the perfect place to have a good meeting about joining a band? None other than a Mexican restaurant. So they just kind of had Mexican food while discussing band stuff. And I guess it worked because from that point on, Lindsey and Stevie Nicks would pretty much be the new members of Fleetwood Mac. And they immediately got to work. This album took 3 months to record. And it was kind of, it's not pretty much while recording, you can tell there was a different dynamic between Lindsey and the rest of the band, because this is where the funny story originates, where Lindsey was telling John how to play a bass line, and John took great offense to it and he said something on the lines of, "Hey, you're in Fleetwood Mac and I'm the Mac, and you don't tell me how to play bass." But yeah, so John was kind of like, a little uneasy about it at first. He got over it, but Christine, though, kind of didn't mind it too much. So that's kind of an interesting tidbit. And so they released the album, and it goes out saying this totally blew up. This got to number 1 in the US, and their first number 1 here in the States. It got to 23 in the UK. And of course, many hit singles. And went 7 times platinum as of now. And this album does kind of show kind of a new start to the band, hence why this is their second self-titled album. And of course you have Mick Fleetwood and John McVie on the front cover. Kind of, you have the Fleetwood and you have the Mac there, so kind of cool there. But there you go. That's the background info on this album.
Nice. I mean, I feel like I said, going back to the last album review, Fleetwood Mac wise, the Buckingham Nicks album, I feel like that album is so good. I feel like it would have been an insult just to have it just as like a brief, like, oh, they did this, But yeah, it's crazy how like, just Bob Welch bringing them to California ended up getting this lineup kind of. So if there's one person you could thank for this lineup, you could really thank Bob Welch for kind of like not pressuring them, but like, hey, we should move to California, move away from England. And thank Bob Welch for that, because if they weren't in California, who knows what would have happened.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What's everyone's brief thoughts on the album cover? I gotta ask.
I like it. Definitely one of their better ones. Much better than the last one.
I like Listen Rumors. I love the white background with the
definitely has a classy look to it.
This one is actually like
very classy.
Cool. And I don't know, like I think that Mick Fleetwood's humor kind of actually lands on this one, unlike some of the other ones. Like him like being really short and then making John McVie really tall. I think that's really funny.
Yeah, if you look at it, I think on Spotify when I looked at the picture, it actually has them like moving and juggling and stuff. I don't know. It was funny. I was like, what? The characters are moving like in the picture.
Yeah. There it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what the orb is.
And he's juggling. Oh, that's cool. I was like...
I agree. This is a great album cover. Definitely their best album cover they've ever made, in my opinion.
Yeah, probably up to date. Yeah,
first and best great album cover.
I don't know. Mystery to Me is going to be pretty difficult to beat with that mammoth thing.
With the
I mean, don't get me wrong. We're doing an album draft.
The penguin.
We're doing an album draft at some point with me, Scott, Bryer, and Adam. I chose Mr. Wonderful because of how bad it is.
I know.
It's looming over my shoulder.
Oh, no. You got the shirt.
Yeah, I got the shirt. I'm wearing the Rangers
jersey.
But they played
the album.
Anyone want to share their brief thoughts on the album before we start?
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to give a little spoiler real quick, but this is the best Fleetwood Mac album we've covered up to this point. Like, there's been stuff that I've definitely enjoyed before. Heroes Are Hard to Find and Mystery to Me especially. But, like, once you hit this album, it's like everything is just, like, falling into place. Like, you have all these little things leading up to this. Like, Bob Welch hasn't moved to California. Honestly, it has a lot to do with Bob Welch. Bob Welch hasn't moved to California. He brings more of a sunshiny pop sound to Fleetwood Mac's sound rather than the blues-based stuff they're doing before. In California, they meet this producer, has them meet Buckingham and Nicks, and then this starts, and then Buckingham Nicks like are a little down on their luck because their first album flopped. And it feels kind of like they needed a solid rhythm section behind them, and so whenever like they come together, it's just amazing what happens on this album. And I got that record here, and then here's a picture of everyone on the back, which is it's kind of interesting because Stevie Nicks has brown hair in this picture. I mean, it's black and white photo, but I can tell that her hair is not blonde in this picture.
Yeah.
But, and honestly, if you hate this era of Fleetwood Mac, you don't know what good music is. Like, I don't get how anybody can hate this era of Fleetwood Mac because it's just amazing. Like, this is the definitive lineup of Fleetwood Mac for a reason.
Mhm.
Like I've already said before that I think Lindsey Buckingham was the best guitar player they've ever had, but then having 3 different songwriters in the band, each with very different voices and very different songwriting styles, really just benefits the band and honestly benefits their albums. Because when you listen to one of the Fleetwood, like the 5 Fleetwood Mac albums that this lineup produced, you're really getting a very, very like different variety of music on the album. Like you're getting Lindsay's songs tend to be more upbeat and rocking. Stevie's songs tend to have like an attitude to them, and then Christine usually brings either like the funky songs or the ballads. And whenever you like get that plus their different voices, it really just makes for a really good listening experience for all of these different Fleetwood Mac albums we're about to cover. And like, no offense for any of the other Fleetwood Mac eras, I especially really liked Mystery to Me. That's a really good album. And there's definitely some songs I could point to and say that's a really good song pre-Buckingham Nicks, like Oh Well is a really good one, or Green Manalishi. Those are 2 good Peter Green songs. And then Sentimental Lady is a fantastic Bob Welch song. And pretty much the whole Mystery to Me and Heroes Are Hard to Find albums, those are amazing. But like something really just clicks with this particular era of the band. And there's a reason that these particular albums sold so many copies, because they are amazing.
Yeah, I guess I've been following along the series with everybody, but I haven't been on the channel to talk about these albums. So I kind of quickly went through all the albums up to this one, and my feelings is that like the blues stuff, I hated the first
Mr. Wonderful.
The first couple of albums I thought were just absolutely terrible. And then you get the Bob Welch stuff, and I just thought they were just okay, not really that good. Like the best, I gave the Bob Welch stuff like 7 out of 10s. I think all of his albums I gave 7s. Everything before that I gave 6 and 5s. So up to this album, I'm like, man, this is not really that good, this music and this discography. And then you get to this one, and it totally flips, totally changes to, I mean, this is night and day.
You didn't like Hypnotized?
Is that an album?
That was one of the Bob Welch songs.
Okay, I know that's a song. Yeah, that's a good song. And Cinema Lady's a fantastic song. There's a couple okay songs in there, but nothing compared to this album. When I first heard this album, I never heard this album before until we were going to do this, and of course I might have listened to it a couple weeks ago. I think the first time I listened to this album, and immediately I was like, wow, this is a million times better than everything else that they've done. I was like, this is, oh my gosh, like this is what I thought Fleetwood Mac was. Like I learned so much recently about Fleetwood Mac. I had no idea they were all this. They've done like 9 different lineups and 10 albums. I mean, I had no idea. I always assumed it was Lindsey, Buckingham, and Nicks, and Fleetwood Mac, and McVie's, and the 2 McVie's. I had no idea this is like a new thing. This is a new lineup. And so growing up, this is all I knew was like this album and Rumors, or like 2 albums. I feel like that, a lot of the songs on this album, that album were huge hits on the radio. So all I knew about Fleetwood Mac were those big hits on the radio coming from this album, Rumors mostly, that I know of so far. And so, yeah, it was a big shock going through the whole albums and going, wow, okay. And then when I get to this, I'm like, okay, this is what I was waiting for. I was waiting for this Nicks and Buckingham to me just really make this album. And I totally agree with what you said about the 3 different singers. I love it. Love the 3 different singers taking turns. Yeah, I think it really helped. But yeah, I'll get more into that later.
How about you, Bryer?
Yeah, I don't have much else to add because I think Scott and Jason pretty much summed it up. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to Fleetwood Mac, this is generally this album and the next one is usually the first 2 albums people already know. Like people always say, like these 2 are like the pinnacle of their career. And yeah, for a long time, I'm the same way because it was just this and Rumors, and I thought that was going to be it. I didn't think I needed any more. But of course, going through the series, of course, there's some other fantastic stuff. But yeah, like when you get to this album, like it's like Jason says, it's like a completely different feel. And that's something that each lineup kind of did. Like each lineup kind of brought something different to the band. And then once you get to this album, I mean, this is where everything just kind of works together. Like you have, again, Lindsay's songwriting, Stevie's songwriting, and even Christine's just all kind of blended together, and it just kind of had this great blend of like some good playing, some very catchy melodies, some very good hooks, and it pretty much caught on, like especially here in the United States. Like again, before this in the US, they were kind of like nobodies. Nobody knew what they were doing. They were pretty much dead here in the US for a long time until this album came out, and I guess it kind of hit the right spot that I guess a lot of Americans kind of liked. They kind of liked that more brighter, very upbeat sound that this album really took. And yeah, it definitely worked in their favor. And of course, it's still very much remembered to this day. So, I mean, it goes without saying that yes, I do think this is definitely their best album up to this point.
Okay.
So many great songs here. A lot of this stuff I've listened to for a long time, and a lot of these songs are still played on the radio to this day. And so yeah, it's just kind of nice to kind of come back to this album once again.
Cool. My brief thoughts on the album. Really, really good album. I wouldn't say it's my favorite album of theirs up until this point. I prefer, my favorite period of the band is the Bob Welch era. We covered that already. Even though this is not my favorite portion of the band, I love this period of the band. This is like remarkable period of the band, I must say. Despite, even though it's not my favorite, doesn't mean I don't like it or anything. I love this period of the band. But I'm really excited to talk about this album. Before we begin, Tyler says hello.
Tyler.
General Kenobi.
Yes. Hello, Tyler, again.
I'm going to have to watch your Akadaka video later.
Nice.
Thunder from Down Under.
First song on the album we're talking about tonight is Monday Morning. Who wants to go first?
I guess I'll start. So of course we're already starting off with Lindsey Buckingham already coming in full force, and apparently he actually had this song kind of prepared before he joined, but I don't think it was recorded beforehand. But yeah, I mean, I kind of already mentioned it before, but you hear this song, it's just like, just has this very bright tone to it. It just has this very upbeat, very happy sounding sound to it. Of course, it's about Monday mornings, and generally that's not a very happy thing. But still, you just can't help but be in a good mood hearing this song. And so many, again, the chorus is very catchy. I think the chorus has a very good melody to it. Really great drumming from Mick on this track. Some really good stuff, good rhythm he's doing. Again, the guitar work. Again, you get a good blend of both acoustic and electric guitar, and it just kind of blends together and just has this very nice tone to it. And again, you have the harmonies. And yeah, this is probably when Fleetwood Mac really start to have some great harmonies. Because again, you have the three singers, and when they come together, it just has this very full, very lush sound to it, which sounds really good. So I think this is a great opening song. Really sets the tone perfectly for this album.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, pretty good, decent opener. Not one of the big ones on the album, but yeah, I get Buckingham right away. I feel like this is almost, Buckingham kind of dominates this album in a sense to me. I feel like, I don't know if he's the leader, but it feels like he's almost coming in and taking over the reins. He had like 5 songs on this album, I believe, at 11. And I also thought tell me this, I noticed I thought the bass playing was actually quite good throughout the whole album.
Oh yeah.
And like you said, Buckingham Nicks yeah, I guess they just need the drumming, the bass, and the keyboard playing. I think is absolutely fantastic too throughout the album. So I think you're right. I think they just needed those other instruments to really up to really help Buckingham's music. That like I said, he was already writing this stuff anyways, because they were going to probably do a second album, Buckingham and Nicks, at some point. And so it's good to have some material to bring in here. And yeah, I thought it was a fine song.
I love this. This is the perfect way to introduce your Fleetwood Mac 3.0, I guess. Man, as soon as it starts up, you just get the what I called on the Buckingham Nicks review, Lindsey Buckingham's wall of guitars, the acoustic and the electric mixing really well. It's just a breezy trip down a California highway in a convertible with the wind in your hair. That's really what this song and this whole album is.
Yeah.
It just is feel good music that you just can't help but be like, I don't know what it is about this music, but I like it. Listening to it, especially Buckingham's guitar playing, he can play pretty much anything, and you can kind of get the feeling of what he's going for. Like, we haven't talked about the chain yet, but I'm going to talk about his one note guitar solo, or at least the first half is just one note. But he can do so much with one note that makes it just feel so much emotion.
This is a really good song to open up the album. I will say this, out of the three like debut albums for like big guitar changes, like, no, you got the very first song, My Heart Beat Like a Hammer, then you got Woman of 1,000 Years, then you got this song. I think this is definitely the best out of the three. I wonder which one's the worst out of the three.
The one that uses the same stupid riff that they used 4 times on the next album.
I know, right? Love this song. This is a fantastic opener. I love this song. Get to track 2, which is Warm Ways.
All right, I got to start this one.
Yeah.
Of course, it has written by my favorite member, of course, good old Christine McVie. And yes, I love this song. It's one of my favorites. This is definitely in my top 5. It's a much. I mean, comparing to the last song, it's a much slower song. But again, I just love the overall tone of this track. Has this very dreamlike quality to it. This was actually released as a single, but not in the US. It was only released in the UK. I don't know how high it charted, but regardless, I just love Christine's voice on this song. Again, I love the chorus to it too. I think she sings it beautifully. And again, it's just a very steady drum beat, not too flashy, but it's just perfect to keep it moving. And the keyboards, of course, just adding to the atmosphere as well. And even again, I mean, Jason brought it up, but on this track, I really noticed John's bass playing. Like, he is doing a lot of great fills on here, and this just sounds spectacular. But yeah, and also there's some great guitar. Okay, there you go. Thank you. It didn't chart, but I kind of wish it did. But there's some great guitar textures by Lindsey, of course, as well. But yeah, overall, love this song.
Yeah, it's nice getting Buckingham. Now we get Christine McVie song, which is always nice. Yeah, it's a nice, I don't know, more ballad, more piano. Of course, McVie plays the keyboards, right? So
yes, yeah.
I'm guessing all of the keyboards is her doing it, which is great. I love the keyboards on a lot of these songs. And yeah, Christine's always got, nice ballad type songs like this. I always enjoy.
So Jason said earlier he feels like Buckingham is the dominant force on this album. I kind of feel like it's Christine McVie as being the veteran member of this album. Yeah. She got 5 different songs on this album. Some of them are sung by Buckingham, but she wrote over half the songs on this album.
Yeah.
Or about half the songs on this album.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly speaking, her songs on this album are some of the best songs that she's ever done, like before and after this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I love all of her songs on all the albums, but this album and the next album is her two best albums song-wise, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And this song right here is a beautiful song. You can tell that she's had kind of more experience in songwriting, especially that she wrote like most of the songs on the album. Because as soon as it starts up and you hear her sing, it's like Christine McVie is just an amazing songwriter. I really like this one.
I'm at the agree with all three of you guys. The song's amazing. I love this song so much. This has that awesome McVie touch to it. Love this song. This and this in terms of the Lindsey Buckingham period, this album and Tango in the Night are my favorite albums with Christine McVie on it. I already said my favorite period of hers was with the Bob Welch period, but I'd say this is the closest well, in my opinion, this is her best album because I feel like she really stepped up her writing game on this particular album. This is a fantastic song, such a beautiful song. When I went back to this song, revisiting these albums again for this series, I'm like, this song is brilliant. I don't know why I dismissed it. It is awesome. We get to the next song, which is not written by any of the band members, but it is sung by Buckingham's, which is Blue Letter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you said, not written by anybody in the band. It was written by, I guess they were brothers, Michael and Richard Curtis.
All that. Yeah.
Yeah. But it turns out they were friends with Stevie and Lindsey, so they were kind of like, hey, do you want to use this song? And I guess Lindsey was like, okay, sure, we'll use it. And it was kind of a last minute addition to the album. I don't think they originally was going to. I think they had a little bit of space, so might as well use it. And I enjoy the song. I really do like the song quite a bit. It just has it's another kind of upbeat track. And I do like the chorus to this one as well. I think the chorus is pretty good here as well. I had this kind of put somewhere in the middle of my list, didn't hit the top 5, but again, there's a good drum beat to it. I already mentioned the chorus, and it's pretty catchy. But overall, it's a pretty solid song.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it was just an okay song. Definitely, towards the bottom of my list, probably of everything, because there's a lot of good stuff that we haven't gotten to yet. Mm-hmm. And in fact, we haven't gotten into any of the really big ones for me yet. But these are like all like, I'm like, yeah, these are pretty decent. But man, I'm waiting for the next one. But yeah.
This is a good song, but I will say it's probably my least favorite on the album, so it's not surprising figuring out it was written by somebody else.
Yeah, no, now you said that, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
But it's still good. Like I wouldn't say we need to take it off the album or anything.
Right.
It's just there's just better songs on the album than this one.
I will say, I do see how I could see this being a last minute addition. It doesn't. I could definitely hear it being the last minute addition to this album. This is a really good song. I love this song. I probably love it the most out of everyone here. I really love it. It's another really good song on the album. Yeah, it's great. Another great Buckingham lead vocal. I love the sort of harmonies on the song. I think the song's really good. There is one song that is my least favorite on the album. We'll get to that. Next song on the album, Rhiannon.
All right. Okay, so Stevie finally gets a chance to shine here. And boy, is it a good one to start with. Yeah. And this is another song she actually had before they joined the band. It was actually the second single for the album, and it peaked at number 11 in the US. Yeah, just 11. But still, not too bad. This is a very cool song here. I just love the guitar intro done by Lindsey here, and it definitely fits the theme because apparently this was based on a novel that Stevie read. It was called Triad, and it was written by Mary Bartlett Leader. And basically, Rhiannon is like a witch character, some kind of witch, and again, when you hear the guitar intro, definitely has kind of a witchy sort of feel to it, which is very cool. This actually took the longest to record. They had a little trouble getting it right, and I don't know if this is true, but I heard that this whole song is kind of put together by different takes, but they kind of spliced it together just so they can get it just right. Which is kind of interesting because if you would just hear it, you wouldn't notice, because that's true. They did a really good job of editing it to get the full song. But yeah, just great. Again, the drumming on here is very good. Again, the harmonies on this one as well is also spectacular, especially when they're singing the Rhiannon bit. Just sounds so good when they all come in together. And so yeah, it's got to be it's in my top 5, so it goes without saying.
Yeah, man, this is the first like absolutely fantastic Fleetwood Mac song that we get to, where it's like, yes, this is what I want out of Fleetwood Mac. This is definitely one of those songs I grew up listening to on the radio. Knew even I didn't know who it was. I just like, oh, I know this song. Like, you know, there's certain songs I hear and just like, oh yeah, like it triggers that memory. Like, yes, I remember this. And it just starts from the very beginning with the dun 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 dun. Oh, I love that beginning. I don't know. You said it was guitar. I was thinking it was like a keyboard or something, but I don't know who's playing that main thing. It goes throughout the whole song, really. Like you hear a lot of that same kind of riff or whatever, and I love that riff. It's like that really makes the song. You go, oh man, that's so great. Just the ears just sound so great, and it just starts that song so great. And Stevie Nicks to me she's my favorite singer in the group. So like every time she lead sings a song, it's like usually my favorite song on the album. As we'll see going on, I don't know about some of the other albums, but I know this one, Rumors, like it's Stevie Nicks. Like when she's singing, I'm like, yes, I really love her voice. So yeah, she really kills it on here. And I agree, the harmonies, this is where you get some of the best harmonies I think they've ever done, right? Where they go, Vienna, they do that whole like almost chorus, I guess, or whatever. And then the guitar's like din 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 or something like that. That's like a cool like a little guitar fill getting from chorus to verses. And it's a huge hit song for a reason. It's fantastic.
So you hear this intro and you think, oh, that's not too difficult to play. You just got to go ba-dum, 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 dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
What Lindsey Buckingham is doing is he's playing that with his fingers, and he'll play that with the top hand, and at the same time he keeps a fourth quarter note bass rhythm note with his thumb. It'll go bow, 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 and he plays that ba-da, 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 ba. At the same time he's keeping a steady bow, 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 bow. With his thumb, and that's not easy.
No.
So you start out with that, and then you get Mick Fleetwood and John McVie come in. And you're like, oh, what a groove! Stevie Nicks sings. Man, what an introduction to Stevie Nicks! Because I'm guessing that most people who heard of Fleetwood Mac didn't get the Buckingham Nicks album. If this is the first thing you heard of Stevie Nicks, you'd be like, whoa, what band is this? Fleetwood Mac. Let's check out. Let's check out the Fleetwood Mac album. Rhiannon's on that one, right? Like this is the song I think that would inspire a lot of people to pick up the album and see what Fleetwood Mac is about, hearing it on the radio.
Yeah.
And you guys have already talked about the harmonies, and Jason was talking a little bit about it, but I think one of my favorite parts is Lindsey Buckingham's guitar fills are just very atmospheric. Like every time he plays, because he plays with his fingers, it has a very distinct sound, and he just plays just very smoothly, I guess is the word to put it. Because it sounds like these little licks are just flow out of his brain onto the record. It just sounds like he's playing it very effortlessly, which is really cool. Love the drums, love the bass on this one. Very atmospheric. It's a very good song.
I really like the song. Really good introduction to Stevie Nicks. Probably my least favorite on the album though. That's the other songs on the album, but compared to like the weakest songs on Mr. Wonderful, this song is like really times better. So don't kill me, Jason. But yeah, that's that. I mean, I don't hate it. Like if I was ranking on my least favorite songs from each of the albums, it's definitely the best out of the weakest. Like not weakest, but out of my least favorites. So that should prove how great this album is. Yeah, I'm not saying this is it. This doesn't go anywhere near any of the songs of Mr. Wonderful, so don't be worried. We got the next. It just happens to be my least favorite of these 11 songs. Just if this was on Tangle the Night, this would be like my favorite song on the album. But this happens to be on a album of songs that I think is better. Next song on the album, Over My Head.
Yep. Yeah, another Christine song here. And surprisingly enough, this was actually the first single for the album.
Okay.
And yeah. And I think Christine herself was like, really? Are we going with this song as the first single? But it got to it was their first top 20 hit since Oh Well.
Oh wow.
So, yeah.
That long. It took them that long to get another hit. Like
it took them that long.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did really well. But yeah, and it's kind of funny, but the song was actually written. The song's about Lindsay. Is about Lindsey Buckingham because, of course, when Lindsay joined, Christine kind of was looking. She was looking.
Oh boy.
And yeah, hopefully that doesn't cause an issue later.
And she married?
Yes.
They were still, I think, at this point still. But yeah, that's gonna change soon.
Oh boy. I think one of the songs on the next album was written about their lighting engineer or something like that.
Something like that. But anyway, back to the song. But yeah, another fantastic song by her here. I love the slow fade in. It just eases you into it, and you're just given to this great sound of the keyboards coming in. The rhythm section is just killing it here, with the percussion as well, and another great vocal from Christine. And you have some more great guitar textures from Lindsay, and yeah, it's just this very nice, very beautiful song that I just absolutely adore. And yes, it's another highlight for me. Yeah,
it's one of McVie's best songs, I think. Christine McVie. I mean, she has two absolutely fantastic songs on here. I think this is one of them that I absolutely love. It's another one I remember hearing on the radio, I think, because I remember when I heard this, like, oh yeah, I know this song. This is great. Like, I don't know what else to say, but the backing vocals really make the song for me. And it's catchy, and I love the melody of it, and it's over my head, over my head, bum ba bum bum bum. Like, oh, that is so great. Like them repeating over my head, harmonizing behind her, and then her going. I mean, that alone just makes the song one of the best.
Yeah, this is another really good Christine song. Yeah, what Bryer said about the fade-in, that really makes the song. Christine is just on fire on this album.
I love this song. Definitely worthy of being a top 20 single. Yeah, the song is awesome. I love this song so much. I'm like, how could a song be this good? Like, man, if I were to make like a top 10 right now, this song is way high on that list, going by both the Bob Welch and the Lindsey Buckingham, Stevie Nicks era. This song is just phenomenal. If you haven't heard it yet, listen to it. This song is so good. Gets stuck in my head. Love it so much. Last song on side one, Crystal.
Oh, I feel like we heard this song before. Yeah. Oh yeah, we did. Okay. But yeah, jokes aside. But of course, this song was originally on the Buckingham Nicks album. I decided to kind of re-record it for this album. It's kind of the same thing. Again, it was written by Stevie, but yet Lindsay sings the lead again, which is interesting. But again, I honestly don't know which one I prefer. I don't know if I prefer this version or the Buckingham Nicks version. I have to hear them again.
I know.
Yeah, but regardless, it's still a very nice song. Again, the acoustic guitar sounds really nice here, and I do like how in this version you can hear the keyboard from Christine kind of adding a bit more to it. I do like that. Again, some nice backing vocals here once more. Again, this one, I mean, I can't remember. I think when we did the Buckingham Nicks, I think Crystal was my favorite song on that album. But this song, it kind of just barely missed my top 5. It was pretty close, but again, there's just so many other great songs on this album that they got pushed down a little bit. But still, it's still a very nice song.
Yeah, I don't remember much about the last album except that I liked it and I gave it a good review. And then I'm thinking back, like, I have to look back at my notes. I don't remember what was on there. I remember I liked it, and I don't remember if this was one of the songs I liked on it. It might have been, because I thought, yeah, it was an okay song, but it's like nothing compared to the top stuff on this album. To me, it's just okay.
I really like this song. I actually like this version better than the Buckingham Nicks version.
Okay.
That was in my top 5 on the last album. It's my number 6 on this album. So I think there's 5 songs better than it on this album. But still, very amazing song. I like whenever Stevie and Lindsay do the harmonizing in the chorus and the kind of different instrumentation that they do on this version is really what makes me like it better than the other one, because it's has a slightly different feel, and I like the feel of this one better.
I really like this song. It's probably ranks towards the bottom of my list, but still another really good song on the album. I really like it. Now we're gonna flip over the record. I don't have Fleetwood Mac, so I'm using
do not have Fleetwood Mac.
Whoever has the album.
I'm using my favorite Queen album as example.
I'll tell you the reason.
Say You Love Me.
All right, Christine's back again, and this was the 3rd single, by the way, and it got to number 11. And yep, another classic song here. Again, this was another big radio. This is probably another song you're gonna hear on the radio a lot. Especially. I mean, I think it's this song and Go Your Own Way is probably the big song I hear on the radio from Fleetwood Mac, and maybe Dreams too. But yeah, for good reasons though. Again, I love the piano intro by Christine. Just once you hear that piano intro, like that just hooks you in right away. And again, John's bass playing on this track just perfectly in the pocket, going well with Mick's drum pattern. And yeah, it's just a very great pop song here. And of course, lyrically, yeah, she's just literally writing about John, just asking him to say he loves her and stuff like that, because it goes out saying their marriage we're kind of nearing the end of their marriage, but still, it's another good highlight song for me.
Yeah, it's another great classic Fleetwood Mac song. I mean, yeah, like you said, this is another one I've heard on the radio growing up, and yeah, absolutely fantastic song. Christine again, great melody, great harmonies. Not much more to say. Like after you say something, I'm like, yeah, it's so good. I don't know how much more to say, but yeah, definitely one of my favorites on the album.
This song is amazing. I love the it ain't easy being cheesy. I love the banjo that opens it up, and then you get into the song. Very catchy. I love Christine's piano playing on it as well. That's very good. I will say, I actually like the single version of the song better because it has some extra guitar in there that's not on the album version. You should definitely check that out if you haven't heard it. It's mixed a bit differently and has some more guitar in there, but Speaking of which, Lindsey Buckingham's guitar, even just on the regular album version, is very good. You got more of those breezy fills in there. Just another amazing song.
Again, another amazing Christy McVie song. Like I said, this is my songwriting wise. This is her best album. Another amazing song. Pretty hard. I feel like it's really hard to beat her songs on this album. Just amazing. Next song on the album, Landslide.
All right, Landslide. I mean, it's another classic here, which was funny because this was actually not released as a single. And
I know. I'm so shocked.
It actually didn't get popular until I believe they released a live version on so a couple, like 2010, like 15, 10, 20 years later or something like that. I don't know how long exactly, but it was kind of that version that got popular. And it's kind of good that it did, because it actually would bring this song to light, because it is another great song from Stevie here. It's just a very beautiful acoustic track, and again, lyrically, I think it's very relatable stuff here. Again, I'm sure we've felt something like this at some points, just feeling like you're stuck in life. And yeah, it's just so good. And again, I love Stevie's vocals on this one. It's definitely one of her best vocal performances, in my opinion. Just comes together, and I love. And again, when Lindsey comes in with some electric guitar, like when he brings in a couple licks, and again, just really adds to the emotion to it. Yeah, this is another highlight.
Man, I love this song. It's one of my, it's probably my favorite Fleetwood Mac song of all time. I don't know. We'll see. And some of the other albums I haven't heard yet, but I've always loved this song. I remember hearing the song when I was a teenager and just being blown away. I think I heard the live version. It's funny you said that, and I was like, I think I heard the live version on the radio. Is what what got me into the song is hearing her sing that, and I just remember being mesmerized by the song, going, what is this song like? I don't think I even knew who Fleetwood Mac was, but I think I knew that was Stevie Nicks. Like I must have figured that out, because I just remember in my mind I just knew that was a Stevie Nicks song, and I didn't realize it was on a Fleetwood Mac album until now. Until I listened to this album, I'm like, oh, there's Landslide. Like, always been one of my favorites. And like you said, I remember just being, and it's funny, I remember being a teenager just hanging on every word of the song. Like, to me, it's probably the best lyrical song they have. Talking about times changing times, talking about getting older, and I was just a teenager, and I was mesmerized. And like, I'm just a teenager. My life's just beginning. Like, I haven't, gotten old enough to really be disappointed by life, which will come later in my 20s and 30s. And then you realize, gosh, what happened to my life, And you really, as someone who's 40, I really look at the song like, I totally feel this song, except I don't have any kids. So that changed things, because I think there's a line about children getting older, but I'm getting older too, I love that line, kind of talking about that and looking in the mirror, and just the whole vibe of the song, just absolutely fantastic. The acoustic guitar is so good. Some of the best playing. And Nick's just so good at singing the song. Like, she put so much emotion into it. You really feel the song. It's funny, there was a version of the song on the radio too that I heard by Billy Corgan, who's the lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins. And I don't know if he put it, I don't think it's on an album. I don't know if he just put it out as like a single or a live version or something. And I used to listen to oldies, and I used to listen to 90s, the current, at the time it was current for me at the 90s music. And Billy Corgan had a version. I thought it was beautiful too. And Billy Corgan, you think he's this, heavy rock singer. And I'm like, oh, Billy Corgan, I liked his version too. But yeah, this is obviously like the quintessential version of the song. I don't know. I guess that's probably enough I have to say, but just, love this song.
This song is amazing. Starting out with that finger-picking guitar, and then Stevie Nicks. She only sings 2 songs on this album, but
just 2.
The ones that she sings are some of the heavy hitters on this one. This song is absolutely amazing. No idea why this song wasn't a huge hit when it first came out. I have heard the live version on the radio, and I must say I do like the original studio version better. Because I know it's like the live version, like, oh, she's older and she's singing about getting older, but like, I don't know, something about her singing that she's getting older and being so young and having a maturity at that point really is just kind of like Dream On by Aerosmith, the original studio version, when he's like in his young 20s and talking about getting older. Like, I don't know, something about people realizing what getting older does at a young age and singing about that. It's just a fantastic song. There is a reason that this particular song is one of the most well-regarded ones in the Fleetwood Mac discography because it is just absolutely amazing.
I'm in agreement with everyone here.
Okay,
This barely missed out on my top 5, though, sadly. But man, this song is always a hitter for me. Yeah, I love this. And to that community college genius that said she's the Yoko of the band, well, screw you. She's way better than Yoko.
She can sing.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
boy, don't even get me started on that guy.
Yeah,
That guy made me make a whole parody of those kind of people on my channel.
Yeah.
Next song on the album, World Turning.
All right. Okay, so this is actually interesting because this one's actually co-written by Christine and Lindsay, so they both work together on this one, and yeah, it's another pretty good song here. I will say this is probably my least favorite song on the album, but still, I don't think there's any song that I really don't like. I think every song here is really good, but this just happened to fall on the bottom. And apparently what's funny is that when Stevie was watching Lindsay and Christine working together, she actually was starting to get, according to Lindsay, she was a little jealous, but she got over it. So don't know how that went. But this one has a more rootsy, more bluesy feel to it. Probably the most bluesy song on the album. But still some good stuff. I think Christine and Lindsay do a really good job kind of duetting off each other. They kind of work really well. I guess why they worked. And I have read that Christine has said that, working with Lindsay is really good because they feel like they kind of work well off each other. And you can hear it here. I think they do a pretty good job. And yeah, it's a solid song. Yeah, I don't have much else to say.
Well, I won't say where it's at in my list. Let's just say it's pretty high.
Okay.
I thought this was. I love this song. This is so good. I was kind of shocked because I kind of was going through this going, World Turning. I don't know if I know that song. And then I turned on. I'm like, oh, I know this song. I think this was another radio hit because I'm pretty sure I've heard this before coming to it. And, like I said, I would say like my favorite stuff is usually Stevie Nicks or Christopher McVie. I'm not as big fan of Lindsey Buckingham usually when he sings. Like I much prefer Nicks or Christine to sing lead personally. And then I get to this song and I'm like, oh man, this is the best song Lindsey's ever done. Like I love his vocals. This is great vocal work by him. I never think of him as like being a great singer. He's like fine. He can do it if he wants to. Obviously his guitar playing is really to me the highlight of what he does. But yeah, this song I was like, oh my gosh, like he's really belting it out. I felt like, and I was like, oh, he's really showing his vocal performance here. And the guitar playing is the best guitar playing I think on the whole album. I mean, it's very fast paced. And I just love the whole vibe throughout the whole song. It's just this great, fast-paced type song, and the whole world turning, like, oh, that is so catchy. It just gets in your head, and you're like, oh, I love that. And yeah, this was one that I was like, wow, this was way better than I expected it to be. I didn't remember this being a great song, and then I heard it, and I was like, oh, no, this is a really great song. This is one of my favorite on the album.
I think this is a pretty good song. It was... Yeah, it's co-written by McVie and Buckingham, which is one of the only times that we get that. I think it's interesting how their two voices blend, because I'm used to hearing him sing with Stevie, but I think it's very good having both their voices on this one. I think it's a good song. I actually don't have it in my top 5, but I still really like this song. It's very good.
Okay, my opinion. So, am I with Bryer and think this is one of the weaker songs on the album, or am I with Scott that think it's just an okay song, or am I with Jason and think this song's amazing? Well, I'm with Jason. This song is amazing. I love this song. This is in my top 5. Crushed on it. I love it so much. I'm with Jason. The harmonies on this is outstanding. Oh man, I was like, after the way Bryer described it, I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I thought like either Bryer or Scott was gonna be with me on that, but like, especially when Bryer was like, oh, this is a blues they're more bluesier songs. Yeah, Jason really isn't gonna like this, but it surprised me, and me and Jason all the way on that.
That's
Nice.
a rarity.
Yeah.
Next song on the album, Sugar Daddy.
Yep. And he's with us right now.
Yeah. It's great.
Jason the Sugar Daddy.
All right. But yeah, more Christine once more. And another pretty good song from her. Really great piano playing as well. And I really like the muted guitar that Lindsay does. It kind of adds a little percussion here, which I like. And you get more organ here. Like there's definitely some more organ on this track than the rest. And once again, John comes in really well on bass here. Again, it's another very nice song. Very much enjoy it. So yeah, I think of the Christine McVie songs, it is my least favorite, which pains me to say, but still, did that mean it's a bad song? I still really enjoy it. So it's a really good song.
Sugar Daddy, isn't that like an older man who has money or something like that?
There's many ways to describe a sugar daddy.
I mean, that's not me because
we'd be here all night.
I'm only like a year and a half older than my wife, and I don't have money, so I'm not a sugar daddy. But I put it in the name title just because I like the name. I feel like is there another song called like "Oh Daddy" or something like that?
Yes.
So I'm like, what's with Daddy? And it's both Christine, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not to get into Freudian things and psychoanalysis, but I was just like, interesting title. It's another solid McVie song on here. Yeah, it's fine.
This song is pretty good. I actually like it better than "Oh Daddy." It's more of an upbeat song. Again, like Jason was saying, what's with the daddy songs?
Daddy, yeah.
But this one I like a lot better. It's still not one of my top 5 songs, but on Rumors they should have put Silver Springs.
Yeah, I think Silver Springs would have worked better on Rumors, which we will be talking about that song when we get to Rumors. My opinion on it, this is an amazing song. I love this So Daddy much better than I love this Daddy a lot better than Oh Daddy. Love this song so much. Another fantastic McVie track. I love the song. Last song on the album, I'm So Afraid.
Okay, so it's Lindsay who's closing us out in this album. And again, this is another song I read that he actually had before he joined. And apparently it was inspired because he had some kind of infection, and he was very sick. And so, I don't know, I guess he was scared of dying or something like that. I'm not sure, not 100% sure, but something on that line. And apparently he labored over this song for like 4 years, kind of working things out. And definitely a much more moodier track from Lindsay. Pretty much all the Lindsay songs prior has been more like upbeat, very has a bright sound to it. But this one definitely has a somewhat darker sound to it, and probably the heaviest song on the album, I think, especially later on. But there's some great guitar harmonies here and really great solo. I think this is where Lindsay really gets to shine on the more hard rock side of his repertoire, and I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a pretty cool way to close out the album. I think But yeah, it's a very good closing track.
All right. So every album, there's a song that I'm like, I don't know if this is a hot take or not until I say it. And everybody's like what? They're shocked. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know I said something shocking. So I don't know if this is a hot take or not. Someone's going to say, this is my favorite song on the album. I'm going to go, crap. This is by far my least favorite song on the album.
Yeah. It's kind of, for me, it ranks near the bottom too. It was like second last.
And it sucks that this is the last song and they ended on this one where I was like, oh gosh, this is a nothing song to me. It's boring. I was like, didn't get anything out of it. And I'm like, man, in this album on Landslide, man, that would have been so awesome. To me, start the album on World Tourney and end it on Landslide. That's a perfect opener closer to the album. For me personally, like the two Buckingham songs that open and close it are towards the bottom of my list. So I'm like, man, why did they open and close it with these songs? That's me anyways. But and like I said, Buckingham's not my favorite out of the group as far as singing. He has one song that I love. Everything else he does on this album, I'm like, don't really care for, to be honest. He's like the weakest singer in the album. So yeah, for me, it's like this is one I'm like, I just didn't get why they did this one.
I actually really love this song.
I knew someone's gonna love it.
In fact, like this reminds me a lot of some of the stuff on Heroes Are Hard to Find almost. With like I feel like if they would have gotten Bob Welch to come back and just sing one song, this would have been the one, and I would have wanted to hear that. But I don't know. I just think it's really upbeat and rocking, and I love the guitar playing on this. The guitar playing is amazing on this song. I mean, I guess maybe I like it is because, like, I think Lindsey Buckingham is probably my favorite member of the band, and I like both of his songs on this album.
How dare you, Jason, say that? This is my favorite song on the album.
I'm not gonna say how dare you say that, Jason, because I know Jason's favorite song on the album is one of my favorite songs on the album.
No,
I'm joking.
Vital Signs. I mean,
don't. Do not.
How dare you, Jason, say this is your...
Do not slander the name of No Quarter.
This is my favorite song on the album by Fleetwood Mac.
Everybody's like, my favorite song. I'm like, oh, darn it.
I'm joking, Jason. This is one
I would have known that beforehand.
I love this song, but this is towards the bottom of my list, so don't worry, Jason. I'm kind of with you on that. So I'm on your side on this one. I think Scott's the only one who really loves the song. It's good. I like it, but yeah, it's not a song I really go back to that much. But when it comes on, I'm not going to be like, ugh, what is this? What is this Mr. Wonderful monstrosity?
That is Dust My Broom.
Yes, but I just brief thoughts on that. What is your top 5, Bryer?
All right, top 5 for me. Number 5, I have Say You Love Me. Number 4, Rhiannon. Number 3, Landslide. Number 2, Over My Head. And number 1, Warm Ways.
Okay. All right. My list is actually fairly similar to what you just said, except for one song. Your number 1 isn't on my top 5, but number 5 is Say You Love Me. Number 4 is Rhiannon. Number 3 is Over My Head. Number 2 is World Turning. Yes, World Turning. Number 2. I wasn't expecting it to be number 2, and then I was listening to this album. I go, I love this song. It went up to number 2 on me, and then number 1, Landslide. It's a landslide. It's my top song.
I promise you, I made this list before we did this video. Number 5 is going to be Monday Morning. I'm probably the one who has that one in there.
Okay.
Number 4 is Rhiannon. Number 3 is Say You Love Me. Number 2 is Landslide. Yes.
Cool.
I'm So Afraid is number 1.
It is?
Yes. I told you I made the list before the video.
No way.
No way, indeed. I am shocked as much as you guys are. It's like Rhiannon's like number 11, and like that song's like number 10 for me. So I'm like, it's like towards the
I'm
bottom.
the one with the hot take this time.
Yeah, I feel like you're more of a hot take than Jason is. I feel like it's more towards the bottom of my list too. I'm the only one who has all Christy McVie written tracks on my top 5. My number 5 is going to be Sugar Daddy.
Okay.
My number 4 is going to be Say You Love Me. My number 3, World Turning. Love that song.
Yes.
Number 2, I'm going to say Warm Ways. And number 1, I mean, to me, this one was a landslide victory for me. It's not the landslide song, but Over My Head, number 1. The song was just absolutely fantastic. I mean, I love this song. Hit for a reason. The three big three though. Not Say You Love Me. World Turning, I love so much. And then Warm Ways, and then this song. It's just like, oh man, it's just like McVie really knows how to write a song. And I'd say those 3 songs especially are why she's like my second favorite Fleetwood Mac member, at least. When I say at least, because her and Bob Welch are really fighting for my top spot. But you'll find out what my favorite Fleetwood Mac member is when we do the.
No Stevie Nicks for you then.
I really like Stevie Nicks. She's my 4th favorite member. So
because I had two Stevie Nicks songs, 2 Christy McVie songs, and 1. So I kind of spread the love a little bit on you.
As long as you don't rank Jeremy Spencer higher than Stevie Nicks.
Landslide. The song is like really close to being my number 5 on this album, but
yeah,
I don't know. I just feel like the Christy McVie songs are like the best songs on this album.
Mhm.
What's everyone's score for this album?
Okay, so my score, I'm gonna give it a 9.5. Didn't quite become a 10 because there's like maybe like 1 or 2 songs that aren't as strong as the others, but I still think this is a terrific song. And like I said in the beginning, this is my favorite album so far. That could change. That's going to change pretty quickly though. But that said, 9.5, still terrific album. A lot of great songs, many hits here, and yeah, this is definitely one I go back to pretty often. So 9.5.
Yeah, total agreement. 9.5. It's a fantastic album. My top 5, those are some of the best Fleetwood Mac songs, probably. Maybe almost want to say it might be better than Rumors. The top 5, we'll see. But
it's close. Like it's always this album and Rumors. Those two always go.
It's very close. Yeah.
This will be probably very easy to average because mine is also 9.5.
Yeah, this will be really easy.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, he'll probably give it 10. So.
I mean, like I said, I'm not picky when it comes to that. So it averages to 9.625, which I guess will become 9.5, I guess, if we average it down. So it's a 9.5 album in average. And I feel like deserves a 10 out of 10 spot. This is my second favorite Lindsey Buckingham Nicks album. My favorite Lindsey Buckingham album isn't for a little bit. Bryer and Scott know what my favorite Lindsey Buckingham Nicks album is.
Woof.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a fantastic album. I think Christy McVie really shines on this album. I feel like if Christy McVie, Stevie Nicks, and Lindsey Buckingham shined on this album, I feel like if Lindsey Buckingham's writing was a little better and Stevie Nicks' writing was a little better, I feel like this would be my favorite Fleetwood Mac album. But I feel like Christy McVie songs are just so much better than the other two. I feel like it kind of like drops it down in the ranking a little bit just because of that. As of now, this is my 5th favorite Fleetwood Mac album. I have 4 Bob Welch era albums higher than this so far. But that's just my opinion. Again, I do prefer the Bob Welch era, but again, I love this period of the band.
Like I said, for me, it was like I was like 7, 7, 7, 9.5. Like to me, it jumped way up.
Yeah, it's funny too because you rated this the same score as the album we just reviewed, the King's album. So
yeah. Oh yeah, both albums.
Oh, you like the Kinks album?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I thought it was a great album.
Everybody's in Showbiz was the album.
Yeah, 2 really good albums today.
I know. I'm actually happy that you were able to review 2 like really good albums.
Yeah.
Staying tuned. We're reviewing Rumors next. The 4 of us. Anything you guys want to say about this album a little more before we close out for tonight?
Well, I heard rumors that the next album's pretty good, so hopefully it's true.
Nah, sellout trash.
So yeah, it's a sellout. Yeah, just go your own way, I guess. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much for watching this, and see you guys in the next video. So long.